Hi everyone, my name is Milani and today I'm going to be teaching you about Mahatma Gandhi. And he was a great leader and freedom fighter of India. Now before we learn about what he did, let's go over some background. His full name is Mohandas Gandhi, but he is more commonly referred to as Mahatma Gandhi. He was born on October 2nd, 1869 in Porbandar, India, which is in Gujarat. At a young age, he was married to Kasturba Gandhi, and they had 5 children together. His education was very important in his role of becoming a leader and activist. He first went to college at the University of Bombay. After graduating there, he went to England to study law at the University College of London. At the age of 78, he was killed in New Delhi, India. Now let's learn about his life story, which includes everything he accomplished. Gandhi's parents wanted him to be a lawyer, so at the age of 19, he left India and traveled to London to study law. With his law degree, he first went back to India. But it was hard to find a job there. So he went to South Africa in hopes of finding a job there. Gandhi went to work in a British colony in South Africa. At that time, there were many other Indian people coming to South Africa too. However, the British people were mean and unfair to the Indian people. This is called racial prejudice. Gandhi saw this and wanted to fight for the rights of the Indian people using politics. Gandhi told the Indian people that they should not follow the British laws that they thought were unfair. It was here in South Africa that Gandhi developed the ideas of non-violence, which is fighting for what is right without violence and war. And these are some pictures of Gandhi in South Africa, in his law firm and all the friends and support that he got. Gandhi went back to India in 1915 and gained a lot of fame and support. He soon became one of the most powerful political leaders. He led a lot of protests where he got other people to help him speak out about unfair British laws. These protests were all peaceful, so instead of fighting, people would refuse to work, sit in the streets, boycott courts, and more. And this is a picture of Gandhi, and he's leading all these people because he got so much support. And this is him actually leading them in protests. Although Gandhi led a lot of protests, the Salt March was his most famous one. Basically, the British people were taking salt from India and selling it back to the Indians at a more expensive price, so it had a tax. The Indians did not like this, and they didn't want to pay extra for salt. So Gandhi led a march where he walked 241 miles to get salt from a beach in India. Thousands of other Indians joined this fight and happily marched behind him. And you can see in the pictures, they are marching right behind him. The British leaders and generals did not like how Gandhi was acting out against their laws. Because of that, he was put in jail 12 times. But he never gave up hope and continued to fight for what was right. On January 30th, 1948, Mahatma Gandhi was attending a prayer meeting in New Delhi. It was here that a man came and shot him, and he was 78 years old. This man's name was Nathuram Godse, and he was sentenced to death because of his actions. The place where Gandhi was killed is now called the Gandhi Smriti. And here's a picture of Nathuram Godse. The Gandhi Smriti is now a museum dedicated to Mahatma Gandhi and everything that he accomplished in his life. Speaking of things he accomplished, let's talk about his legacy. Gandhi was one of the greatest social and political lawyers in the 20th century. His strong will and continuous fight eventually led to India's independence from Britain. His ideas also inspired many leaders to come, including Martin Luther King Jr. Thanks for listening, everyone. I hope you learned a lot about the great leader that helped free India. And I hope he inspired you like he inspired other leaders